Du, 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 du. Du, 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 du.
Russia's
Huh. Wow. Mm-hmm. 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 Da, 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 da. And a partridge in a pear on a third day of Christmas. I love when this happens. Okay. 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 Why does it do this? Good. Shut that off. All platforms. Okay, cool. Pure rejection. Hi, drop a like on the stream. 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 Trying to make sure the audio is a good level. It seems decent. What are we debating before I call? Nothing. We're not debating anything, dude. We're not debating anything. A bunch of war-hungry monsters. A bunch of war-hungry monsters, dude.
Thank
I wonder what Bernie said about Donald Trump declaring war on every country on Earth.
Thanks very much for joining me. Let me give you the good news and the bad news.
There's good news.
The good news is that last Thursday afternoon, at a beautiful and moving event, I had the privilege of swearing in Zohran Mamdani as the next mayor of New York City. At a time in our country's history when we are seeing too much hatred, divisiveness, and injustice, Zohran's victory inspired the nation to believe that we can have a government that represents all of us and not just the wealthy and the powerful. Further, at a time when people in the United States and around the world.
Shout out Zoran. Someone said, technically speaking, the president can't declare war on anyone. Yeah, technically speaking, but with the Trump White House, they are making the argument that Trump is a dictator and Trump may seek world domination if he so pleases.
Are losing faith in democracy. Over 90,000 New Yorkers volunteered for Zohran's campaign and knocked on millions of doors. Together, they took on the Democratic establishment, the Republican establishment, the President of the United States, and some enormously wealthy oligarchs.
Good job, Zohran Mamdani. All right, what about Venezuela? I want to see Okay, housing is not radical. I agree. Awesome. Free buses. Good luck. Get it done. Do all your stuff. People living paycheck to paycheck. All right. All right, Donald Trump.
Once again, showed his contempt for the Constitution and the rule of law with his attack on Venezuela. Let's be clear. The President of the United States does not have the right to unilaterally take this country to war, even against a corrupt and brutal dictator like Maduro. The United States does not have the right, as Trump stated, to run Venezuela. Congress must immediately...
Yeah, but this is what Republicans are saying now. This is what MAGA is saying.
Being illegal, not by the standard of international law, and not even by the constitutional constraints of the executive power of the United States of America.
They are saying they don't care about what's illegal or illegal. They care about just the ultimate power, all right? When Trump said, "He who saves his nation breaks no laws," they truly believe they can do whatever they want. They believe the president should be a king. They believe Trump is a king. Republicans and MAGA, they want their full monarchy, dictatorship, dictator tots, whatever, that they're going for it.
Pass a war powers resolution to end this illegal military operation and reassert its constitutional responsibilities. Trump's attack on Venezuela will not make the United States and the world safer. Quite the contrary. This brazen violation of international law gives a green light to any other nation on earth or any terrorist organization that may wish to attack another country. And they will use Trump's action in Venezuela as their rationale. Trump did it, why can't we do it?
True.
Trump and his administration have made it clear that they want to revive the Monroe Doctrine, the belief that the United States has the right to dominate the affairs of the hemisphere. They have spoken openly about controlling Venezuela's oil reserves, the largest in the world.
Someone said Trump's not a dictator. He is not a king. He's just the GOAT. Quit hating. Quit hating, dude. All you people do is come in my chat and guzzle. You guzzle loads. You guzzle loads all day. It's all you do.
Let us not hesitate to call this policy out for what it is. This is rank imperialism. It recalls the darkest chapters of U.S. intervention in Latin America, which have left a terrible and destructive legacy. As many will recall, Trump campaigned for president on an American First platform. He claimed to be the peace candidate. Well, at a time when 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, when our healthcare system is collapsing, when people can't afford housing, and when artificial intelligence threatens to wipe out millions of jobs, it is time for the president to focus on the crises facing this country.
It's so funny. Trump said no regime change wars. He called Liz Cheney and all them war criminals. They all made this argument that we should be abandoning Ukraine to Russia. And it's like, yeah, I don't see any self-interest in protecting Ukraine for America, but I do see a self-interest in Trump bombing Greenland, Cuba, Colombia, Venezuela. They have no principles and no brains. They really just don't, bro.
And to end military adventurism.
All their arguments have...
Trump is failing in his job to run the United States. He should not be trying to run Venezuela. So, that is what we have seen this week. On one hand, we celebrated a major victory for our progressive movement. On the other hand, we witnessed a reactionary, oligarchic government at its worst. Needless to say, these are crazy and tumultuous times, and everyone feels a bit overwhelmed. But this is what I honestly believe.
If we come together,
we are smart,
as Americans, against the powerful,
and if we are focused, the future will reflect the vision that Zoran laid out in his speech on Thursday.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm going to get to Stephen Miller on CNN. And Stephen Miller, essentially, he's the leader of the White House. He is the president. If you look at the leaks, the signal leaks from that one strike on, what country was that even in? Was that on Hezbollah? I forget where that was. But in the signal leaks, Stephen Miller called all the shots. Okay, he said that the big man said to do it. We got to do it. Stephen Miller runs the entire domestic policy of Trump, all the deportations, all that kind of stuff, and foreign policy. Alien Enemies Act. Stephen Miller is the mastermind behind the CCOT torture. And he, on CNN, what Bernie's talking about here, about America in the 1800s and 1900s. The idea that we can just go do anything we want, we can blow up any country, we can just capture countries, we can spread democracy anywhere because we have a big military. That is what led to world wars. Okay, that is what led to a ruleless globe that was just war, power grabs, land grabs, economic battles, economic wars. And they have a vision of the world where China gets their section of the world, Russia gets their section of the world, and we get ours. And if we follow the MAGA plan and go back to the Stone Ages and we chase after coal and oil while China chases after synthetics and advanced AI chips that we are helping them build now, we are going to be falling as a country faster than we thought. If the Trumpism is able to win out here, if Trumpism is able to win, it's not looking too good. Please drop a like, repost this video, repost this video and follow my page. I'll take calls at some point. We got to do this Stephen Miller video first though. How's it going, guys? Third day streaming in a row. Big deal. Or is it fourth day? Third day. Third or fourth? Monday. Third day. Something like that. Trump is a child. No, I think children are better than Trump, to be frank. To be Sinatra.
A vision that many of us.
Okay. This right here should scare you. So Stephen Miller is on CNN. The title is White House Official Says U.S. is in charge of Venezuela because military is stationed outside of the country. So he's going to say that America controls all commerce, anything coming in and out of Venezuela, America is now in control of. So this is the real person to listen to. This is the shadow president. Trump is not here anymore. His brain is completely evaporated. He's here to be corrupt, to make money, protect Jeffrey Epstein. He's Epstein's sidekick. But Stephen Miller right here is going to show you a very dark vision for the future. He's going to say that we are going to take Greenland and no one's going to stop us. We're going to take Greenland, Cuba, Venezuela, possibly like Colombia, possibly bomb the sovereign territory of Mexico as well. It's not good.
Briefed on the Venezuelan operation.
This guy's a freak.
A handful of American troops sustained bullet and shrapnel wounds, but none are life-threatening. Can you share with us how serious any injuries to American service members might be, and also any information you can tell us about any Venezuelan civilian casualties?
Yes. Well, let me take the second part first, which is that the overwhelming share of casualties and fatalities that were inflicted were against the Cuban Guard that had exerted control over the people of Venezuela. So many
notice the Cuban Guard. So Cuba does do security for a bunch of countries in the region, but they are really setting up the idea that Cuba is the big boss battle here. And Marco Rubio, in his own book, has said that his father's dying wish was to take over Cuba. So Rubio leading foreign policy, Stephen Miller wanting to take control of all these countries as well, and also use it for an authoritarian crackdown domestically. You're going to hear the word Cuba and Cuban quite often.
That for years, Maduro stayed in power through an illicit deal with Cuban communists to provide his security because he didn't trust his own people to keep him safe. That is how much he was hated inside of Venezuela. So what our special forces encountered when they did that daring midnight assault into Caracas were armed Cuban guards, and they sustained massive numbers of casualties. I can't give you an exact number. The numbers that you've seen in terms of the Cuban guards publicly reported are probably lower than the actual number that were killed. To your first question, no, none of the, at least as I've been briefed, none of the injuries are life-threatening. Everybody is stable, and it just underscores the remarkable skill, precision, courage, and capability of our special forces. And I wanted to set the table one more time for your audience. I'm sure you've talked about it at length already, but the United States of America launched an assault force into Venezuelan territory, which has sophisticated air defense systems, which has sophisticated surveillance systems, which has weaponry that they've received that can take out planes and helicopters from our foreign adversaries that they've been stockpiling for years in anticipation of the possibility of such an action. Maduro was staying in a military fortress. In other words, since the United States had started amassing this armada.
Okay, what he's doing right now, and the U.S. has been getting, I think, 15,000 troops in the area, a bunch of other military equipment and vessels. What Stephen Miller is doing right now is you set up the propaganda to be essentially, look how amazing our troops are. And yes, America has a really impressive military. Look how amazing the troops are. If you say this is bad, then you're arguing against the troops. They said this about Vietnam. They said this about Iraq and Afghanistan. If you're against the war, you are actually hating on the troops who are fighting in the war. Okay, that's what they would say. And then they will talk about the person that we captured, which is Maduro, and say, well, if you're against us, doing illegal actions, bypassing our own constitution, bypassing all type of international equation, international law, whatever, then you're pro Maduro, you're pro dictator. So you can in their world and in the MAGA world, they want the conversation presented in a way where there is zero discussion on the merits of what's happening. They just want to be able to say, oh, you love terrorists. Oh, you love Maduro. Oh, you hate our troops. That's what Stephen Miller is doing right now.
Under President Trump's leadership and direction,
under President Trump's leadership,
the scope of his own movement, and he was sleeping in a fortress.
Yeah,
and so we flew into Caracas. Yeah. These special forces engage in direct gunfire with elite Cuban guards, and every single kill was an enemy kill.
So there were no civilian casualties?
Well, I didn't see any reports of any civilian casualties.
There were 50 plus civilian casualties. The Trump regime, these liars, whenever there's something unpopular or something they don't want to confront, they simply say, oh, I just haven't seen that. I never saw that before. Oh, casualties? I haven't seen any.
But my point is that in this raging gunfire battle that took place, the point that I'm making to you is no Americans were killed.
Right.
Because of the planning, skill, and preparation, the enemy sustained massive losses. Yeah. Not one of our assets was lost, not one of our people was lost.
So let's talk about what next. Delcy Rodriguez was formally sworn as Venezuela's acting president this afternoon. She was the vice president. She described the U.S. intervention as, quote, without a doubt, Zionist in character, unquote. Is acting President Rodriguez someone that the U.S. can work with?
So the acting president put out a statement, I want to say, Jake, it was last night, pledging cooperation with the United States, pledging full and complete cooperation.
But they also just passed a law saying that if you supported the operation, outlawing individuals or threatening with criminal penalties, individuals, if they supported the operation against Maduro. I think they did that today.
Well,
yeah, the Maduro regime is still in place. The issue is our CIA, and Trump hates Machado because she won the Nobel Peace Prize. That's definitely playing a role here. But they had to keep the current government in place because if they did not let this vice president take control, then the whole country would have collapsed into chaos, into a bunch of different gangs and terrorist groups and different governing bodies competing for power. The whole country would collapse right away. So they had to let this one lady stay in power.
The good news there, Jake, is that nobody inside of Venezuela supported the operation, so it's a law without meaning or effect. Look, Jake, there's going to be some...
Wait, what did he just say? No one supported...
I think they did that today.
Well, the good news there, Jake, is that nobody inside of Venezuela supported the operation, so it's a law without meaning
Nobody
or
supported
effect.
the
Look,
operation.
Jake,
I think he meant support as in you support the idea of it, not that you... I don't know.
There's going to be some posturing that occurs when a nation has been so thoroughly defeated in this way. The United States of America, think about this, Jake. The United States of America has encircled this nation for months. One of the largest naval armadas in history has been stationed off its coast.
Yeah.
Fighter jets have been encircling the island. We've been engaging in kinetic lethal strikes against Maduro's drug boats and trained air walk gang members leaving the island.
Yeah.
We have launched a complete oil embargo of the Ghost Fleet, the dark ships.
We've
And
been
now
covering
on
all
top
of
of
it.
that,
Yeah.
and now on top of all that, right? Maduro is sitting in a jail cell in New York, as is his wife.
So
of course there's going to be, this is very important though, of course there's going to be some posturing.
Miller seems a little bit, let me know in chat if you get this. He seems a little bit uneasy here. He's usually more aggressive and more confident sounding. He sounds kind of, I don't know what drugs he's on right now, but he sounds very aloof maybe, or what's the right word for it? Something about this is very, he's trying to be pleasing to Jake Tapper. Like he's in full propaganda mode, like he's trying to cover up for something that's really bad because he's saying a bunch of statements like, "Oh, our team was amazing," and look at the success. It was so amazing. Look at the ships. Look at the military and President Trump's amazing leadership. He's not being very aggressive yet.
Without giving anything away, I want to be very clear. Very clear. The government has sent messages. This is such an important point, Jake. To the Secretary of State, to our senior U.S. government official negotiators. They have sent message after message making clear that they will meet the terms, demands, conditions, and requirements of the United States.
Okay.
And I want to be very clear about that, Jake.
So let's. The question about who is now running Venezuela is one that even members of Congress who are big Trump supporters say they're not quite sure about. Senate Majority Leader John Thune told CNN's Manu Raju that he doesn't know what President Trump meant by his assertion that the U.S. is running Venezuela, and he said he needs more information. Can you tell us what the president means when he says, is acting President Delcy Rodriguez in charge? Is she running Venezuela or not?
Well, what the president said is true. The United States of America is running Venezuela. By definition, that's true. Jake, we live in a world in which you can talk all you want about international niceties and everything else. But we live in a world, in the real world, Jake, that is governed by strength, that is governed by force, that is governed by power. These are the iron laws of the world that have existed since the beginning of time.
But in terms of day-to-day operations in Venezuela, that is acting President.
So Stephen Miller right there is saying, essentially, the Trump vision is going back to the 1800s and 1900s, the same conditions that led to empires in constant total war, World War I, World War II, power grabs all across the world. It's a rejection of post-World War II global relations and organizations like NATO. So what he just said there, might equals right, domination, power. If you're a big, powerful, strong country like America, you can simply take control of Venezuela with zero repercussion. Now, that is not true. There will be massive repercussion. If Trump is able to annex Greenland, attack Cuba, Venezuela, our global standing will collapse. Countries will be fleeing from America. Like, we will be the bad guy globally. And that'll give a free pass to China and Russia to do whatever they want to do on their side of the world as well. And a bunch of terrorist cells and everything will become undone. It'll be a unwinding period of great pain and suffering if they're successful. But that is the world Stephen Miller is describing. Big country sees small country. Oh, we can just capture you right now. There's no law. Nothing matters. We can kill your civilians, take your president, no matter. We can make up legal rationale. We can violate our own constitution, is what Stephen Miller's saying, as long as you have the guns and you have the power.
Rodriguez, right? It's not some sort of American emissary.
No, what I'm saying is, we'll keep going here, Jake. So I want to say what I'm.
If you guys want to debate, okay, if you want to debate, call into the show in a few minutes. I need more likes. I have 44 likes on the stream. If I put this on YouTube, please drop likes as well. I stream at 9 p.m. Eastern Time to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to call in, you can either donate to Joel Up Politics on Cash App or Venmo, Joel Up Politics, leave your phone number, and I'll call that number back. Or you can get in the call queue. You can call the number on screen. I'll take it in a few minutes.
And you'll follow up. But what I'm saying is just one level above that, which is that by definition, we are in charge because we have the United States military stationed outside the country. We set the terms and conditions. We have a complete embargo on all of their oil and their ability to do commerce. So for them to do commerce, they need our permission. For them to be able to run an economy, they need our permission. So the United States is in charge. The United States is running the country during this transition period.
If that's true,
obviously that doesn't mean that President Trump is setting the bus fare schedule inside the country. So doesn't mean that President Trump is assigning the K-12 curriculum in the country.
The indictment.
Well, Trump said that he needs to grow the country. Trump said we need to nurture the country so we can eventually have elections in a few years or whatever. From Trump's own mouth, he wants to run the internal domestic policy of the country as well by force, by threatening the vice president there, that we will capture them in the same way. Well, I guess the new president, not vice president anymore. But essentially, we captured Maduro. If you don't do everything we say, we can capture you too. That's the gangster mentality they have so far.
The president and the military were acting on from 2020 was of 6 people. 2 of them were seized on Saturday by our special operators. There are 4 other individuals indicted who remain in Venezuela.
That's a key point right there. They had to leave certain people, certain generals, so the country didn't collapse, and they probably cut a deal with them. There are deals on the table here.
That they be turned over. One of them is Maduro's son. One of them is a former government official. One is a current government official. And one of them is the head of Tren de Aragua, as I'm sure you know. Are they going to be turned over if President Trump is, in fact, running Venezuela in the way you described?
Well, I don't want to obviously, you know, what we have to balance here, Jake, which I think you more than most understand, we have to balance between, of course, what I can say to you publicly versus very close hold.
Here's another defense they run. Oh, I can't tell you. I can't tell you publicly.
But I'll answer the question in this way.
Yeah, why is Stephen Miller being so nice right now to Jake Tapper? He's being too nice. I don't trust it.
There might be individuals who are fugitives from American justice that could become part of a future conversation. But it's also true that for government leaders inside of Venezuela, and as the president has said, right, we want an interim government that will respect the interests of the people of Venezuela, that wants a good, peaceful, secure future for Venezuela. So I would just say it this way. For those who may be indicted, the best choice they can possibly make is to be part of a constructive decision-making process for the future of Venezuela. The best decision they can...
Yeah, he's backing off because he knows this is a very shaky foundation. The same government's in charge in Venezuela. Nothing really fundamentally changed. Maduro's a bad guy, but, you know, his entire structure is still in place. All of his people are still there. All of his generals, all the drug leads, kingpins, like they're all still there. So that might be why he seems a little bit more timid here. 60 likes. We need 100 likes. We need 40 more likes. I'll take some calls. Okay, so right here, Stephen Miller talks about why America should be annexing, invading, and taking Greenland.
The president was very quick to say...
remember, this is the real president right here.
...that the recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, opposition leader Machado in Venezuela, doesn't have the support in Venezuela to become the next president or the interim leader. And I wonder where he got that from, given that basically her cutout, Gonzalez, won the election last year, 2 years ago, overwhelmingly, 70% of the vote or something like that. Why does the president think that Machado should not be the next leader? Why does he think she's weak?
First of all Venezuela experts agree, that it would be absurd and preposterous for us to suddenly fly her into the country and to put her in charge. And the military would follow her, and the security forces would follow her. This is not a serious. It's not even a serious question.
So should there be an election?
Let me. If you give me the floor for 30 seconds, let me tell you what we are doing here, Jake. The United States. This is sort of foundational. The United States is using its military to secure our interests unapologetically in our hemisphere. We're a superpower, and under President Trump, we are going to conduct ourselves as a superpower. It is absurd that we would allow a nation in our own backyard to become the supplier of resources to our adversaries, but not to us, to hoard weapons from our adversaries, to be able to be positioned as an asset against the United States rather than on behalf of the United States.
Sovereign countries shouldn't be able to do what they want to do?
The Monroe Doctrine and the Trump Doctrine is all about securing the national interests of America. For years,
the Monroe Doctrine was a long time ago, and that was when America was not a superpower. Superpowers were not even really a thing, and it was to reject European colonial expansion into the other Americas. Like what he's saying right now is crazy.
We sent our soldiers to die in deserts in the Middle East to try to build them parliaments, to try to build them democracies, to try to give them more oil, to try to give them more resources. The future of the free world, Jake, depends on America being able to assert ourselves and our interests without apology. This whole period that happened after World War II, where the West began apologizing and groveling and begging.
I don't even know honestly what you're talking about right now.
What I'm talking about, Jake, is the idea.
He misses the world where Hitler was able to do his thing. Okay, that's what Stephen Miller's saying right now. He thinks Nazi Germany should have been able to keep on going. He hates the post-World War II order where the Soviets and Nazi Germany were stopped. He wants it to all be might is right. If you have power, you can just take other countries. You should be appeasing big powers and playing mafia games. Okay, that's what Stephen Miller's saying right now. And that's why he's going crazy and talking over Jake Tapper, because he's on one of his, if there's one thing Stephen Miller is passionate about, okay, if there's one thing Stephen Miller loves, it's this.
By the way, you do. I know you love doing that smarmy thing, Jake, and I was hoping you'd be better at it this time.
I asked you about if there should be an election.
Exactly.
I asked you if there would be an election in Venezuela. That's what I asked. I said, why was the president so quick to dismiss Machado? You answered that question. And then I said,
the objective, Jake, is security and stability for the people of Venezuela. With our help and leadership, that country will become more prosperous than it has ever been in its whole history. Venezuelans
but the
will
woman
be richer
running Venezuela
and
right
safer
now is
and
part
more
of the
secure
Maduro
and
regime.
better off. There will be conversations, Jake, about all of these guideposts along the way. The reason why I was giving you that speech, which I know you didn't want to hear, is because you're approaching this from the wrong frame.
Bro, okay. When it comes to the wrong frame, he answered you a straightforward question. And the answer really was, the country, like I said earlier, the country would collapse if we let this random person take power. We needed to leave the Maduro regime in power for the country to not collapse. But now Stephen Miller is going on this whole rant about why we should. Okay, this is going to lead into Greenland. Okay, this is going to lead into why Stephen Miller believes we should be taking Greenland.
This neoliberal frame. The United States' job is to go around the world and demanding immediate elections to be held everywhere, immediately, all the time, right away. To create these vacuums.
That's not what I think, but you invaded the country. Went into the country and we seized the leader of Venezuela.
Damn straight we did.
And I'm saying,
we're not going to let.
So is the U.S. going to have new elections?
Jake, is that we're not going to let Tim Pot communist dictators send rapists into our country, send drugs into our country, send weapons into our country.
Okay.
And we're not going to let.
This is y'all best warrior MAGA. Is this really MAGA? Is this going to be the whole thing you do now? You just don't answer questions? I mean, you've done it for a while now, but you're going to have this guy going crazy right now?
The country fall into the hands of our adversaries. The future of Venezuela.
So it's not our job to be neoliberal policemen for the entire world, but it is our job to invade countries, to control all of their commerce, imports, exports. We can dictate, we can take their leader. We can try to install a new relationship with the gangs currently in place and the government that is still the same government. Like, we could do all this. We could try to invade Greenland and Cuba. Like, we could do Cuba. We could do all this stuff. That's our job. But being policemen of the world is not our job. So what the issue is for Stephen Miller is not the idea that America will be influencing countries globally, like helping Ukraine, for example. He's against helping Ukraine and helping other European countries because he's against ideologically the post-World War II framework where all of these countries work together to establish a rules-based world order of some sort, where there's international law or some type of international law, where there's collaboration, where there is respect for sovereign territories and sovereign countries. He wants there to be a world where America is getting into everybody's business, all right? But he wants it to be done in a way that's just America bombing everybody. So USAID, think about USAID. We help a country develop maybe some medical infrastructure, maybe some agriculture, and maybe we give them a couple bad loans and we get our businesses in there and we get influence through USAID, international development. That is a neoliberal way to build power. Stephen Miller's way is just going to be bombing everybody and just taking whatever the biggest countries are in the region. You can bomb the smaller countries and have constant battles over land and over resources. Like,
working with America is going to be so bright and so incredible and so positive.
So incredible and so bright.
Everything that you raised.
Everything you raised.
Right now is the president has been made.
I love Donald Trump's. I always suck. Stephen Miller. I love to suck. Donald Trump's. Old, wrinkly ballsack. Every second.
Clear is a judicious, thoughtful, careful transition process.
I'm sorry. I forgot there's like 900 people watching. Where's the Greenland part? I swear I saw something about Greenland. Oh, here's Nick Fuentes.
What to do? It's their gold. Who are we to tell Venezuela what to do? It's their gold. What do you mean it's their gold? If they could defend it.
Yeah, okay. It is a very Hitlerian thing to do. Trump is so, like, the neocons. The neocons are so happy. Okay, here it is. I mentioned this earlier. So Stephen Miller is talking about Greenland. And should America be taking Greenland?
The premier of Greenland and the premier of Denmark and other Danish officials are responding to a Twitter post from your wife, Katie Miller, herself a former Trump White House official, showing Greenland covered with an American flag, saying soon. After that was posted, President Trump repeated the claim that the U.S. needs Greenland for national security reasons. The Danish prime minister responded to this in an interview earlier today, as reported by Bloomberg, quote, "I believe one should take the American president seriously when he says it wants Greenland, but I will also make it clear that if the U.S. chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including NATO, and thus the security that has been established since the end of the Second World War."
If NATO and all of these different agreements fell apart with America just invading every sovereign country we want to, then there would be another, maybe not world war, something similar. There would be a global depression. China takes all of Taiwan. Russia takes all of Ukraine, pushes up on Europe, probably sends a couple more drones into Europe. deeper into the Belt and Road Initiative in Africa. There's going to be more missiles, maybe like another Cuban Missile Crisis type scenario. We're going to have like North Korea is testing new missile systems again. When all this stuff unravels, we've had the most peaceful, like 80 years since World War II in human history. There's been a bunch of wars, 100%, but we've had the most peaceful time, and we are on a good trajectory. If all this stuff falls apart, dude, it's not good. It's not good. The Greenland, oh man.
Do you rule out that the U.S. is ever going to try to take Greenland by force?
Well, let me go back a step. The president has been clear for months now. So I know you're treating this as breaking news. The president has been clear for months now that the United
And by the way, just remember, I'm sorry for pausing, but after I talk about like the history of all these multilateral agreements between countries and treaties and whatever, and the fate of the entire globe. I look in chat, and I'm thinking about the fate of humanity. And all the Trump supporters are, for some reason, guess what they're saying? Guess what they're saying after I said all that? What is a woman? Do you know what a woman is?
So I know you're treating this as breaking news. The president has been clear for months now that the United States should be the nation that has Greenland as part of our overall security apparatus. The United
Right, but
States,
your wife posted that like hours after the Venezuela operation. That's why it's newly relevant.
No, I'll talk with you about it for an hour. I think it's a really important conversation. I just wanted to reset, Jake, by making clear that it has been the formal position of the U.S. government since the beginning of this administration, frankly, going back into the previous Trump administration, that Greenland should be part of the United States. The president has been very clear about that. That is the formal position of the U.S. government.
Right, but can you say that military action against Greenland is off the table?
It wouldn't be military action against Greenland. The Greenland has a population of 30,000 people, Jake. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? What is their basis of having Greenland as a colony?
This is basically like if somebody walked up to your house and said, hey, this should be my house. And you say, no, I own this house. I purchased this house. I legally have all the papers right here. It's my house. And the person who wants your house, they just say, well, I have an RPG. I have guns on me. I have bombs on me. If you don't give me your house, I'm going to blow you up. It's no debate at all. The house is free for me. And you have no choice but to walk away because there is no law. There is nothing barring a big country from taking over a piece of territory they want. And that's what Stephen Miller is essentially saying right here.
Colony of Denmark. The United States is the power of NATO.
Oh, you think it's your house? You think it's your house? You think this is your house? Well, I would like to see you try and keep that house. So yeah, that's why he said that. I hit my face with my hoodie string, just so you know. I don't know why I said that. But that's why he said that Greenland has 30,000 people. They have 30,000 people. Who's going to stop us? There's not going to be any military confrontation. What confrontation? We're just going to take it.
The United States to secure the Arctic region, to protect and defend NATO and NATO interests. Obviously, Greenland should be part of the United States. And so that's a conversation that we're going to have as a country. That's a process we're going to have as a community of nations.
So you can't take it off the table that the U.S. would use military force to seize Greenland. You can't take it off the table.
Jake, I understand you're trying very hard to, which again, is your job. I respect it. It's great to get exactly the headline, right? That catchy headline.
I'm just trying to get an answer to the question.
That says Miller refuses to rule out. The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily.
See, there it is. No one's going to fight the U.S. We're just going to take it. He's not talking about buying it. He's not talking about some type of vote from Greenland to leave Denmark to come to America. He is saying we will take it. There will be no military confrontation. And he's like, "Oh, you think you're going to clickbait me or get the clickable quote? You're going to clip me, not clickbait. You're going to clip me out of context." No, it is in context. The context is true. But Trump supporters, okay, and the Trump administration, that they win by being liars and weasels, and they cannot answer a question, or their entire political model falls apart. Answering a question. If you make a Trump supporter really confront what they talk about, they have to either not understand it, pretend to not understand it, willfully not understand it, or they change their mind. if you really get down to it. Or they just say like, well, yeah, this is bad, but I think Democrats are worse. That's what they'll say. By the way, we have 900 viewers, 900. So please drop a like. YouTube Shorts, we have 105 likes. I'll take some phone calls in a few minutes. I don't want to mess up the flow though. Yeah, please, if you like the stream, please drop a donation to Joel Law Politics, my same channel name on Venmo or Cash App. If you donate to me there on Venmo or Cash App with $10, I'll take your phone call first. Send the donation with your phone number attached to it, and you'll be first in line for phone calls. But yeah, I had 1100 plus. Yeah, it goes up and down with the YouTube Shorts though. Stephen Miller must be a really good get, huh? That is a really good interview. For real, for real, for real. Told you I would get him too. Oh, here's a good one. Back in 2016, you criticized the U.S. being involved in regime change and nation building. Your stance has changed on that. Okay, let's see, Donald Trump.
There was a time back in 2016, I remember your RNC speech, and you were saying that regime change and nation building. Where? When you were speaking at the RNC back in 2016, you were criticizing regime change and nation building, the U.S. being involved in that. It seems obviously that your stance has changed on that. What led to that? And is the U.S. nation building now? Is that
this isn't a country that's on the other side of the world. This isn't a country like where you have to travel 24 hours in an airplane.
Oh, so he is pro regime change and nation building, but he thinks it's good when he does it. Okay, so he was never against it. He wanted to be the one to do the regime change. Okay, I get it. Someone donated $5. Wow, look at this amazing super chat. The way liberals take the smallest snippets and turn it into this level of fear-mongering has to be studied. No wonder an idiot like Trump won. Yeah, so when we talk about months and months and months of the Trump regime talking about invading, bombing Mexico without their consent, we're bombing Nigeria, Somalia. We bombed Iran for Israel. If we would have said that Trump would bomb Iran for Israel, people would call us liberal TDSers, you know? The fact that Trump would invade Venezuela, kill 100 plus people, 50 plus civilians, take their head of state, violate their sovereignty, and now take full control of Venezuela, the America First, so-called America First party. Yeah, everything keeps on coming true. So the Greenland stuff, I just went through a 10-minute clip, 15-minute clip. But again, guys, MAGA cannot contend with any reality, okay? They have to say I clipped something out of context after I just saw an entire clip. And I talk about this every night. But remember, their intellectual honesty is so low. Okay, I guess we'll take some phone calls. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you subscribe, drop a like on the stream. Dropping a like really helps the algorithm every time you come on here. Really small act that goes a long way. Okay, you can call in now. The phone line's open. Drugs are bad. I agree. Drugs are so bad, dude. We should bomb every country in the world that has drugs in them. That's Whoa. That's my position. We should bomb every country in the world that has drugs. Hello?
Hello.
Wait a second.
Call from.
Hello?
Hello.
Howdy.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going okay. Okay, how are you?
Jesus loves you.
Jesus loves you too, buddy. Have a great night. Here you go. Yeah, it is a child. You're right. The adult Trump supporters don't. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. How are you?
I was just wondering, like, what if AI is behind the whole reason to take over, like, all the oil in all these countries so it can, like, become stronger?
Well, the AI needs rare earth minerals, which is Taiwan for us.
You think part of this Venezuela thing is China gets Taiwan?
I mean, if we follow their conclusion, which is basically America gets our hemisphere, Russia gets theirs. So Russia can take Georgia and Ukraine. America can take Greenland and Venezuela. and Mexico. And then, yeah, I mean, we're basically saying that China can have, China can have Taiwan. We're saying that Israel can have like Palestine. Yeah, we're saying all these things should be happening all across the world. That's what the Trump administration is saying.
So all the greater powers can have peace, or?
Well, it's just whatever the dominant country is in the region. It's like kingdoms. It's like going back to a feudal system, 1800s, 1900s, or like a Cold War system, where big countries try to topple smaller countries, make them vassal states with no autonomy, make them like military outposts, do proxy wars, and like we did in the Middle East and mostly northern Africa. So yeah, I mean, all of that stuff is what they want to go back to, and we've been moving away from it.
Part in it now, or no?
I mean, AI does have a part in it in a sense that we are helping China because we're giving China advanced AI chips for nothing. Like we are giving China free advanced AI chips in return for them opening up their soybean markets again, which they only just cut off because of Trump's trade war. But yeah, if let's say China took Taiwan and we, because we destroyed the entire global order, allowed that to happen, our country would collapse. Laptops would be costing $10,000 a piece. We would need to just like go to all out war to obtain rare earth metals. So we need to make sure China does not get these advanced AI chips to full capacity with their ability to get rare earth metals. And also, like if we look at Ukraine as well, the parts of Ukraine that Russia wants to take first are the areas of Ukraine that has the highest concentration of rare earth metals as well. So Ukraine and Taiwan are super big for America and Europe and pretty much. It's I wouldn't say it's the entire game, but if the global stage goes this direction, it's not going to be good.
So wars are no longer fought over flags; they're fought over batteries and rare earth minerals and oil.
Yeah, I mean, it was like that for a while. Or I mean, wars over gold, over resources, wars over ideology. That's how the world was before World War II. And you can argue that World War II happened as a result of that, because like when Hitler, I don't have extensive knowledge of all the wars, but when Hitler was invading Czechoslovakia, and all these other countries, the idea was just appease them. Like it's a big power, they could take the country next to them. They said there's ethnic Germans in these countries, we're going to take them, and appeasing Hitler was our biggest mistake of that era. And now we're doing the same with Russia and China, with like Ukraine, and largely now Taiwan. So if we go back to the pre-World War II global order, it wouldn't be surprising if we had another global, like a World War III. I don't know how bad it would be. I don't know. It would probably be fought through targeting power grids, targeting internet, targeting banking systems. I don't know if it would be like a war with China and Russia would probably be very meticulously, like it would be done. It would not be a normal war. A lot of drones, a lot of advanced technology. Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Anything else?
Talk. No, thank you.
I appreciate the call. Hope you have a good night, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Anybody else want to call in? Taiwan is sovereign. Yeah, but you understand that that's the whole point here. So is Venezuela. They are sovereign. So is Ukraine. They are sovereign. If we tell Russia they can take parts of Ukraine because they were able to win those parts of Ukraine, which is what Trump has said so far. They worked hard for it. They should be able to keep it. And we give Russia new sovereign territory they took from Ukraine. And we invade Venezuela and Greenland, and we bomb Mexican cartels without Mexico's permission. And we violate sovereignty in all these different countries, and we bomb random fishing boats. If America doesn't care about sovereignty and we ditch Europe through trade relations and through foreign relations and through our treaty agreements, then Taiwan being sovereign means nothing. Okay. International law is flimsy, largely because there is no clear way to have an enforcement mechanism. We take shortcuts with things like sanctions or through bilateral or multilateral agreements where we target certain countries. So think about like how we target Iran. We do that instead of like war. Okay. Like, the sovereignty thing is the whole point. Taiwan might be sovereign, but what does that really mean? In this new Trump world, that would mean nothing. And it basically, I mean, we're less than a year in. Taiwan's going to be gone before the end of this. I would bet, and that's not going to be good for America. It's going to be real bad. We're going to see how America. We're going to see what America first really means with foreign policy, and it might be too late by that time. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully Republicans lose big time in the midterms, and we're good. But who knows? All right, there's no one else calling in. Don't call with an unknown number or I'm not taking it. Okay, work a little harder. Get a fake number at least. Ah, boy.
With Maduro now out, that base of...
All right, the CBS News guy apparently has been doing some propaganda.
With Maduro now out, that base of power and influence could be out too. All right, to other news, as you just heard from Jill. Well, to other news now,
Bro, they're talking about...
Governor Walz. No, we're going to do Mark Kelly.
Bro, he just glossed over the Venezuela part. CBS News now occupied by the Trump regime. Like, in Venezuela, the same government's in place. Nothing has gotten... Things have gotten worse for Venezuela. The future is unclear. Trump's talking about bombing Greenland and Cuba next. Okay, within 20 days, within 2 months. Whatever the timeline is. And CBS News this is Fox News. CBS is now Fox. So you're going to talk about this for a second.
With Maduro now out, that base of power and influence could be out too. All right, to other news, as you just heard from Jim.
Could be out too. The hand-picked generals, the same people. The leader of Tren de Aragua is still in power.
Well, to other news now, to Governor Walz. No, we're going to do Mark Kelly. First day, big problems here. What, are we going to Kelly here, or are we going to go to Jonah Kaplan? We're doing Mark Kelly.
Bro, what's going on, bro? Did like last second, CBS also canceled a story on the Epstein files this week, guys. After canceling the story on the Venezuelans and El Salvadorians that we tortured in CCOT. The innocent people we tortured in CCOT. After they canceled that story, they canceled a story about Epstein. And now it seems like, just knowing what I know from my knowledge of people that work on news, in newsrooms, the fact he is not clear where the story is going, last second, they probably tossed the story of the update here because the Trump regime is saying that they want to take full control of Venezuela. Like,
we're doing Mark Kelly, possibly demoted from his retired rank of captain in the Navy. Hegseth issued what's known as a letter of censure for the Arizona Democrat over his participation in a video that called on service members to defy illegal orders without specifying which orders he had in mind. Hegseth called what the former combat pilot and astronaut did an act of sedition. Now we go to Minnesota. A surprise announcement from the Great Lakes state there today. Tim Walz, the 2024 Democratic Vice...
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, I mean, dude, we went in Venezuela. We took care of... I mean, dude, nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens, bro. I mean, chill. All right, phone lines are open again. Phone lines are open. Call in again. If you want to call in, phone lines are open. Phone lines are open. Thank you for watching. Please drop a like. 130 likes. We want 150 likes. 150. Donate to Joel Politics on Venmo or Cash App. It really helps the channel. Helps me with my editing equipment and etc.
Call from.
Hello. Answered your phone call. Hey, what's up?
Yo.
You're
listening to 98.1 Big House Music.
Cool. Thank you for wasting our time. You donate through Patreon. Hey, what's up?
Hello?
Hi, this is the YouTube channel thing.
Hello?
Hi, this is the YouTube channel thing.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Basically, I was listening to you talk about Taiwan. You don't have too much to worry about there. Japan basically said that if China invades Taiwan, that they're going to go to war with China. And right now, Japan is a sleeping giant. It's really the only thing that's holding China at bay is Japan.
But Japan's military is the American military. Japan has no standing army. Like America, it's a military base for America. So that would be an American versus China war at that point.
Yeah, not really. You have to understand. Like, I mean, I agree with you as far as like they don't have a standing army, but that would basically be the equivalent of the Americans didn't have a standing army really to fight World War I or II with. But they
no, I'm saying that China has advanced AI technology that might be outpacing us right now with drones, and with their ability to integrate themselves into electrical grids and a bunch of other crazy methods they have to go after countries. And the fact they're a manufacturing powerhouse, and we have hurt Japan economically from Trump's trade war. So Japan's more reliant on China than ever before for trade than ever before. So is South Korea, which is not good for America. So Japan and South Korea, we're kind of burning them right now. And yeah, Japan, it would be the American military. That would mean a war versus America and China at that point.
Again, I mean, I partially agree with you, but at the same time, you have to look at what's going on with both Japan and South Korea basically separating themselves from America slowly. I mean, right now you have South Korea making deals with China and other countries for microchips. You have Japan actually starting to build their own military warships. You have, there's right now
and Japan's not taking on China. Like, you really think, just in concept, if you look at Japan on a map and look at their GDP and look at China next to them and China's allies, and how many countries rely on China, you really think that if China goes after Taiwan, then Japan is going to be the stopping mechanism that prevents them? It just doesn't really make any sense.
I understand what you're saying, but again, you have to look at how many times that Japan has dominated China. It wouldn't be the first time, and it wouldn't even be the second or third time. Japan constantly kicks the shit out of China every time that they go to war with each other. Now, I do agree that there's been a huge economic advancement and technological advancement in China over the last 30 years. But again, it was just, you have to look at basically when Japan went to war with America. America pretty much at that point didn't have the standing army that they were able to put together in less than a few months. They didn't have.
That's not true. Like Japan, because we made it so they cannot have a real military. So we are their military, essentially. That's why Japan is safe in the region. It's because we are their military. Japan and South Korea would not be a thing if they would not exist if America did not use them largely for military and intelligence purposes. Like, everyone I know in the military has gone to Japan for training. Like pretty much everyone I know in the military has gone to Japan at some point for training, or South Korea. I don't agree. I appreciate the call though.
Yeah, I would highly suggest that you just do a little bit more research as far as their recent pullback from America and their actual buildup and the amount that they're investing into their naval military at this point. It's not the same situation it was 5 years ago. But you have a wonderful day, and I really appreciate your time.
All right, appreciate your time as well. Have a good night. I don't know how I'm supposed to explain stuff like that. It's like, yeah, bro, China's not going to take Taiwan because Japan's going to stop them, dude. Japan's going to stop them, bro. Trust me.
Hello?
Howdy. What's up?
Oh, hey, yeah, am I on there?
Yep, you're on the air.
Hey, yeah, I just want to say, I appreciate your candor compared to some of your, fellow, I guess, YouTube, TikTok call-in shows. You're handling it pretty well.
Well, I don't make enough money, so I might have to be more like them. Then I can make money
Fair
like they
enough.
do.
They do, and you know what? I try to, like, listen to both people's sides, but, that is kind
Okay,
of my
I
question
appreciate it. I
about, like,
appreciate
Trump
it.
going to war.
Sure.
Yeah, no, and I'm trying to be a good faith actor, but
Okay.
you guys are kind of taking a play out of Rush Limbaugh's playbook.
Rush Limbaugh.
Well, give me 2 seconds and I'll totally give you a full rebuttal. What I'm getting at is, like, it's not rage bait. I'm not going to use these trendy new words, but it's kind of shock jock territory where you're getting people riled up and, like, what would you be doing if Trump wasn't in office and, you know, you had everything your way? I mean, right now you're definitely monetized, or I hope you are. You deserve to be.
I was working on real policy stuff when Trump was not in office. When Biden was in office, I have my master's in public policy. I was able to focus on actual policy topics. But right now, the biggest issue in the world is rejecting propaganda. So, like, I was much more productive in making things better for people when Trump was out of office, but now I need to talk about him. I actually shut down my YouTube channel from 2020 to 2024 because I didn't feel like doing it anymore because Trump wasn't in office. I didn't care about the media as much. I did real work, but now I'm back on here because people need, you know, some type of conversation
insightful.
guidance.
No, that's a very good point.
Now I'm talking about
I
freaking
appreciate-
Somali gender daycare pronouns every day, and I can't talk about healthcare anymore. So
Hey, and it seems like you're one of the better ones.
I'm one
I'll
of the
give you
good
that,
ones.
But some of them seem so smug. So I will like and
I'm smug.
subscribe. I appreciate it. It's just it seems like my algorithm's been having you, not you, but your type of shows pop up more and more often, and maybe that's my fault for, you know, watching them. But I appreciate your candor.
Yeah. Do you have any I don't know, direct questions?
Well, a lot has happened, and it's been the start of the year. So, I mean, the Venezuela thing was crazy. I have all the thoughts on that, and I don't want to be pro-war. I voted for Trump with the intention of him calming things down, but sometimes you have to, like, break a few eggs to make an omelet.
I mean, when we talk about eggs, okay, we're not talking about like breaking eggs right now. We're talking about crushing the foundation of our house because we want to build like a new ballroom and the whole house is going to fall apart because we're not fixing the foundation right.
I have a theory on the ballroom. I think.
Well, not
that
just
is,
I don't care about the ballroom, but yeah, what's your theory?
I know what you mean, but my theory is underneath the ballroom is a new expansion to a safe house for the president and the East Wing. I don't think it's about the ballroom. I think it is about a much needed technological upgrade in case we get attacked and the president needs like a new war room. But I could be wrong. I have no clue.
I mean, that's going to be their argument. They could have done that with other areas of the White House. A lot of it is just because Trump wants, Trump wants gold stuff everywhere. Trump loves, he wants to have like a Mar-a-Lago.
He's also a troll.
He went over the Rose Garden, all that kind of stuff. Like if they need a good bunker, I mean, they have a million places they could do that. The president would not be in the White House if there was a serious threat on his life. He would not be in the White House or anywhere near the White House. But I mean, just from a security purpose.
He said the White House was trashy, old, and tacky. I don't think it's about the ballroom. Trump doesn't drink alcohol. He doesn't care about that. He would rather party in Mar-a-Lago.
Well, okay, so like when it comes to Venezuela, when every single justification for it is a lie. So fentanyl, Venezuela does not make fentanyl. I think like 0.1% of American fentanyl comes from Venezuela. It's not about it's not really about the drugs at all. We left all the drug kingpins in power. We left Maduro's government in power. It's not really about the oil, I don't think. But I do think they want to topple countries. No, but it's not that straightforward. When it comes to, you know, wanting to invade Greenland and Cuba and Colombia and Venezuela, it seems very ideological, and Trump loves being able to squash things and blow things up. And it seems like Trump is getting his rocks off by doing all this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just yeah.
Well, you make some good points, and it's definitely like a convenient thing that there happens to be oil there. It's always about oil, and that's a hard crude oil that runs diesel. And the way that like our OPEC situation is and all that, like it is a convenient, like, why not? The Monroe Doctrine, all those excuses, but also they're mobilizing on Taiwan, and China is owed $19 billion from Maduro, and we want to flex like, hey, dude, get out of our backyard. Beware of dog sign is being put up.
Yeah, but the flex,
oil
I mean, if we're going to
definitely
just like, if we're going to say Venezuela has a bigger security concern to us than like Ukraine or Taiwan, then it just makes no sense. Because right now they're essentially saying we own our own hemisphere. Every country does. So that's giving power to like, it's like I said earlier, like China taking Taiwan, Russia taking Ukraine if they're able to, and Georgia, like the rare earth metals in Ukraine are a much bigger concern for us than Venezuela. And for their oil, like we have capacity to do more oil in America if we needed that. To facilitate oil in Venezuela, we would need an all-out boots on the ground military occupation in Venezuela. Shit does not work down there. It's hard to refine. The refineries are not up and running. There is a little investment there. So like it would need to be, and Trump said he told the gas and oil companies before striking, he did not alert Congress. And if gas and oil companies rebuild the infrastructure there, then he'll reimburse them with taxpayer dollars, which is just like, okay. Yeah.
That's a good point. I think because he's trying to like hoop skirt our red tape bureaucracy, we have oil in Alaska, but because so many liberal people, like if you look up the SB 53 bill in California, like they make it so hard that it's easier to go take Venezuela, and because he's an illegitimate president, and it's technically Biden who put a $25 million bounty on his head. So I mean, like,
no, Maduro's a bad guy, but so is Putin, and so is. I mean, if we go take out every bad guy in the world, we're going to start a world war. The question is like, what are our laws? What is smart to do? The president should only be doing something like this if it's an imminent threat to American sovereignty. Like if a country's about to launch a ballistic missile to hit LA, then the president can take action to bomb that boat without Congress, or they can take action to get that leader without Congress if there's an imminent threat. But their whole thing about like fentanyl, again, their main justification was fentanyl. And that does not come from Venezuela. The boats were not even coming to America half the time, and we had a chance to bring people back here alive, and we just killed them, or we sent them home.
Also, Marco Rubio is a little bit of a puppet, and he's got some beef with Cuba that I have done the
in his book.
So
his
a lot of moving factors.
They fled during the one right wing regime. I think it was Batista. But his father's dying wish was to take over Venezuela, essentially. So Rubio, that's his lifelong goal, is to go after Cuba. So I assume that's coming
Bush
next.
Administration, yeah.
Yeah, but Trump is very, very, very pro-war. I would say that Trump is more pro-war than Bush. He's probably more pro-war than H.W. Bush, Bush's dad. Because Bush did a similar thing in Panama as well. But even with like bombing Iran, even Bush did not bomb Iran for Israel. Like Obama didn't, Biden didn't. Only Trump bombed Iran directly for Israel. Obama tried diplomacy, but in terms of like striking their nuclear facilities, it's just like Trump is, the fact he was able to run on the peace candidate that's against regime change wars and all that kind of stuff is so laughable with his record and everything. And right now he renamed it Department of War. It's just so on the nose.
You made a lot of good points, and it's something I'll look into. I'm a libertarian at heart, but
a libertarian.
I know, right? We love saying that. It's like a vegan for politics.
It is.
But
it is. It really is,
man. And hey, I will subscribe, and I'll keep listening to you and try to see a different perspective for sure. But keep up the good work.
All right, appreciate the call. Have a good night, man.
No problem, man.
Peace. We got some good callers tonight, guys. Thank you for dropping a like on the stream. You know, we have 450 viewers still, and we're 2 hours into the stream. And it's because of you guys dropping likes and helping out that we're doing this. Please consider donating to Joel Out Politics on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Thank you so much for $5, Sri on Venmo. Thanks Sri in chat, everybody. If you're able to donate, or become a patron, or a channel member, or donate to Coffee /Joel Out Politics. But yeah, Joel Out Politics on Venmo or Cash App. You can skip the call line. I have about 15 people trying to call in right now. If you want to support the show, support independent media. Thank you for watching and whatever else. Okay, next caller. I'll call you back. 330. Oh, wait.
Call from.
Hello?
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. I've been listening to you for a little bit here now.
Yeah, what's up?
I've been listening to everything you've been saying. My opinion on what's going on is I understand everything Trump has done. It hasn't been exactly what everyone's been expecting. I don't exactly agree with everything he's been doing, but
okay.
I also understand the world stage. I feel, my personal opinion is we're headed to war, whether we like it or not, and he's taking steps to prepare the country for war.
Well, just really quick, thank you so much, Lise or Lise in chat for becoming a supporter tier member. Thank you so much, everyone. Everyone, thank Lise. Thank you so much. When it comes to preparing us for war with China, modern warfare is very not Call of Duty. I'm pretty good at Call of Duty. If anybody wants to 1v1 me in Call of Duty, by the way, DM me on Discord. I'll take anybody in Call of Duty. Okay, get me in Call of Duty, guys. Call of Duty sucks, but I hate that game, but I'll still play it. When it comes to getting us ready for war, though, you're playing Ark right now. Yeah, I just don't want to pay any money, and I have Game Pass on Xbox, so it's all free. Well, not free, but you know what I mean. So when we say to the EU that they might be enemies to us, when we say to Greenland, we might invade you, we say to Canada, we're going to do a trade war, and Mexico and the UK and Australia, then we do that same thing with countries like Colombia, like random tiny countries as well. We cut off USAID, which was helping us a lot in Africa with influence there, which will be a big area where we could avoid bombs and we could use diplomacy and international development. I don't love everything USAID does, but it's a mechanism for us to do that kind of influence campaign in the correct way, at least a mechanism for it. So we destroy all of that. We tell all these different countries, sovereignty doesn't matter. Ukraine, screw you. We cut off intelligence from them for a while. We do all this stuff globally. We are suffering right now. We gave China advanced AI chips. Like when China cut off our soybean market because of Trump's trade war, we begged them for the soybean market back. And in return for them opening the market back up, the market we already had access to, we gave them access to our advanced AI chips that they could not yet make. And they have all the rare earth metals. So when considering that, it seems like we are self-harming right now.
We also discovered a huge stockpile of rare earth metals in our own territory that we're probably going to start mining.
Yeah, but not nearly. It's kind of like I think that can supply like 5% of what we need if it's at full capacity. But with the modern world and AI and data centers and drone warfare and all this complicated stuff, we produce coffee in America too. I mean, Hawaii can produce coffee, but we still have to import 99% of our coffee because we don't have the supply here. And even with even with Biden's CHIPS Act, whatever it's called, CHIPS Act, I think Trump kind of hurt that a little bit too. So it just feels like all these things are not really helping us for war with China.
It's mega corporations. It's all about the money for them. They don't care if they're hurting us or if they're going to another country. They just care about what the top profit is. Like explain the high increase in inflation and everything. Yeah, that has a lot to do with what happened in COVID, but at the same time, it's just things have been going up and up. And I understand that plays a role with the government and what's the word I'm looking for? The loan rates and all that, because they were doing zero interest loan rates for a long while, but that we will also keep voting in the same people. And I fully believe that both parties are essentially the same. They're just working with each other and they're just playing us.
Yeah, but my big thing here is just we need allies. Trump hates our allies. He kind of likes Putin and the El Salvador dictator and Hungary and these countries that are kind of more authoritarian, that are not really involved with Europe and the free world, and free areas of humanity. So like, I just don't see what Trump has done so far that would ever prepare us for a global battle. And like, let's say we cut off China from trade. If China's not involved in trade, we need to isolate China and work with like Vietnam and India and our allies to the north and south of us as well. But Trump tariffed them as well. So like we started a world with a trade war with the entire world. I just don't see what part of this is helping us with war.
The whole point of the trade war was we were getting bad deals from a lot of these people. We were just sitting on them and letting it happen for such a long time. And finally someone stands up and decides, no, we're not going to be treated this way just because we have free markets.
But America has dominated the entire globe.
Why we're happening.
America has dominated every country globally. Like if you tell other countries we're getting screwed over, like we have screwed over every country in the globe after World War II. Like we have been the leader. We have set the terms for the UN. We have set the terms for NATO. We have led everything. Every trade deal benefits America. That's why that's one reason why we're so rich.
I understand it, but at the same time, I also feel we were very generous to the rest of the world because at the time we had nuclear weapons before anybody else, and we could have taken over the world, but we didn't. We stepped back after we did the 2 bombs, and we said,
I mean, we didn't want the whole world to fall apart completely. It's mutually assured destruction. But I mean, if we're generous,
but at the time, nobody else had nuclear weapons. We could have taken over, but we didn't.
But the thing is, if we bomb Nigeria and Ethiopia and Somalia, and we bomb countries all over Africa, and we take their cobalt mines and whatever, we take all these resources from Africa, and then we give them back, like, oh, we're going to pay 10 cents a person in America to help a few million kids not die from diseases. That's not really, that is, I'm not in favor of the way we've done that, but that's better. Doing it that way is better than what we're doing right now, which is bombing countries, beating them into submission, violating sovereignty, abandoning all rules and laws inside and outside of America.
Well, what would be the alternative if we didn't do any action?
But it's not about no action. It's about smart action. And right now we are turning countries against us. We need allies against the rising China. But now if we look at different countries,
always against us because we were the world police. Everyone hated us, even though we were enforcing
not everyone.
laws.
No, and like our allies liked us. This is the first time in human history, I think human history. Okay, let's say since the beginning of America, this is the first time that China is more respected as a global leader than America. First time ever. And it's because of Trump and his foreign policy. And that is not good if we have a war.
I'm 40 years old, and since the moment I was in high school to now, every other country hated us because we were the world police, because we butted in every world situation.
But this is worse. This is worse than world police. We're just killing people. We're not. The thing about the world's police, which is something I is a criticism that I think is important, is that if we're the world's police, that means there is at least a legal system and a structure that we're trying to reinforce. So in America, you steal something, we know there is a mechanism to enforce the laws we have. For international law, it's really difficult to enforce international law. You get into a lot of issues with wars and trade deals and trade embargoes and a bunch of other, so many complicated issues. But as the world's police, at least we had values and morals. Even if we betrayed them, we had principle and law that we at least tried to come back to police surrounding those laws. This right now is going back to before we were the police of the world and back to when we were just some type of empire country doing imperialism, blowing shit up and saying, oh, we're a big country. We're going to take Greenland. Who's going to stop us? Like that is way, way, way worse than world's police, both from a pragmatic perspective for us. And also other countries are going to hate us far more than they even did before. And we cut off our USAID. Now 14 million extra kids are going to die in Africa over the next 10 years because we cut that off.
State of those other countries right now? What is the state of those other countries right now that are modernized? They're falling apart. They're falling apart because they accepted all these migrants.
Which countries?
The UK, for one.
The UK isn't falling apart. They have some social tension issues, but the countries, Australia is doing very well.
The riots have been happening.
I promise you, in Australia,
they got knife gangs roaming in their streets. They're raping.
There's gangs
children.
in every country. You could find bad parts of any country. In Australia, the violent crime rate is like 1/10 of what
but
it
the
is in
police
America.
Don't back them up.
In Australia,
the police don't back those people up.
Hey, in Australia, you would live 6 years longer on average than you do in America. Australians report to be like 10 times happier. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but like the Australians live much happier lives than Americans do. That's not a good comp
They're doing
country
a second
whatsoever.
gun buyback after they did a first gun buyback. What is that going to change after everything that happened on that beach?
On that beach happens. What happened on that beach in Australia is horrific, but that happens in America every other week. That's the first time that happened in Australia in like 30 years. Like people die from guns in Australia. Like 200 people die in Australia from guns. I think 20% is accidents. 75% is suicides. Only 5% is violent. Yeah, after they had their big gun reforms in the 90s. And that's the thing though. It did do very well. Okay, listen. What happened in Australia happens every other week in America. That happens once every 30 years in Australia. Around 200 people die from guns in Australia, and 75% is self-harm, 20% is accidental. It's around those numbers. In America, like 60,000 die from gun violence per year. So yeah, the reforms did work.
When do we add in self-harm to the statistics in America?
It's in our stats too. It is in our stats too, but it makes up like 50% of ours is self-harm and accidents. It's like 50 or 60%. So yeah, it's definitely involved in that number too. But the number is a lot higher. Like when we talk about Australia, unless if you think that like a gun policy in Australia is going to result in a utopia, which is not gonna, the idea that we have a mass shooting every couple of weeks like Australia had, and Australia's happened once in 30 years, that's probably better than what we have. And I'm not saying, and I'm pro Second Amendment. I'm just saying from a pure numbers perspective, like Australia's policy is an obvious success.
I don't quite agree with that after everything that happened with COVID with them.
Well, that's COVID. That's not the same conversation, but okay. What was the core? Okay, just so we could wrap up the conversation, I want to wrap it up. So what is the overall, is there a way that we can summarize and what kind of point can we get?
My summary is I feel like we're preparing for another world war that we're not prepared for.
Do you think that we're preparing for it and Trump's doing a good job, or do you think he's just doing stuff? Like he's getting ready for something, even if it's good or bad?
He's getting ready for something.
But you don't know if it's good or bad.
As a society, we're not prepared for it because we're too tied up on internal
Yeah, but
politics.
in terms of like Trump, but I would say that Trump's a big blame of that too. We're talking about, I said earlier, Somali pronoun, gender affirming daycare, or whatever. Like that's all we talk about is issues like that. We never talk about policy anymore. And I think that's largely right wing.
The Somali stuff, but at the end of the day, like if people are abusing the system, they need to be held accountable.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that, but Trump pardons fraudsters every day, and his big thing is calling all Somalis garbage. Like I care about the corruption, but I'm not going to blame all Somalis for it. And I know Trump pardons scammers.
But until people start getting arrested on both sides, I don't think things are going to change.
Yeah, but the Biden admin started that investigation that got those like 90 people, and the ringleader was a white lady too. So focusing on Somalis is a weird choice, as if they're the only ones doing crime there.
If I had to pick between him and Kamala, I would still pick him.
Well, I would assume that based off your opinions. But hey, I appreciate the call.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for hearing my opinion.
Yep, thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
This might be our most consistent night of calls, guys. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that like button, subscribe. We're going to be streaming at 9 p.m. Eastern time every night. I was going to go 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. All right, 2 hours, solid stream. Please donate to Drola Politics on Cash App or Venmo. Drola Politics is my channel name. Or become a channel member on YouTube. Super chat. Thank you for the $5. Talk about the Roosevelt. I didn't see the Roosevelt one. The Monroe Doctrine. If someone calls in and wants to talk about it, they can. I'm taking phone calls randomly on I have a fake phone number. Okay. I have a fake phone number. I'm taking calls randomly, on here. If you want to move up the list and guarantee that I answer your call, then you can donate $10 to Venmo, or Cash App. And in the message on the donation, leave your phone number, and that'll put you ahead of the line for calls. All right, let's try this number.
Hello, this is Michael Harris.
Whoa.
Yo,
Hey, this is the YouTube thing. What's up?
man, what's going on?
I don't know how to answer that question.
I've been trying to blow you up, man. I've been trying to talk to you and hopefully have some civil discourse here.
Civil discourse, my favorite.
Your favorite?
My favorite.
So
I love civil discourse.
I'm looking through as I'm attempting to talk with you and just kind of see where you're coming from, because I've come across your channel maybe once or twice and I watched you for a little bit, and I might have been busy or whatever. I start scrolling through your videos, and the title of your videos, it's like, I wonder if we're even going to get anywhere. It's obvious that you have a pretty left-leaning. It doesn't seem like you're really looking for information more than you're looking to talk at people instead of talking to people and maybe listening. I would question this, and I'm not jumping down your throat, man. I'm and I might not change your mind whatsoever, and that's fine. But I would ask you this, man, and I would challenge you. A lot of your opinions kind of come ready-made. Like, there's stuff that I hear when because I'm a big guy of jumping all over and looking at all kinds of news, and that's obviously why I've called into your show. I mean, I'm not a guy that's just going to subscribe to right-wing stuff. I want to look around and I want to see other opinions. But I would ask you, in earnest, how much time have you spent traveling across the world? How many other places have you been? You kind of come from a place of authority. And again, I'm not attacking you. I'm just trying to open your eyes. Like, have you been to other places? Have you been anywhere in South America? Have you been in other societies? I mean, you have a lot of opinions, and I would just ask you that to start the conversation off. Have you been to other communities, other countries, and seen other cultures, and have anything to base your opinions on? Because to me, and again, I'm not attacking you, but to me, your opinions are very much in line with everything I hear on MSNBC. I can. You kind of threw off, said like 50% of the gun violence is suicide. Well, in reality, it's anywhere from 62 to 70, depending on the year. The average is 62. So that was kind of a blanket thing that you threw down, and then you did correct yourself. So, well, maybe 60. Talking to that guy, but we're so all over the place with the conversations. I kind of want to stick to this Venezuela thing. I mean, you are basically trying to convince your viewership that this was a stupid move when the entire population is out in the streets crying and thanking Trump for doing what he did. Let me preface this before I shut up. I think Donald Trump is an asshat, okay? I'm not a big Trump supporter. I am a conservative, okay? And I'm more moderate, okay? So that being the premise, like, I just think some of your opinions are really, really skewed in liberal media, and it just doesn't seem like you have a lot of you don't have a lot, like, you don't care to hear from people more than you want to talk at people. And I just want to get your comment on that and see your perspective.
So for firearm fatalities in 2023, 58% were suicide. So when I'm talking in a conversation, I'm saying broad ranges because we don't have the stats on hand, but I know the broad ranges. So if we compare like Australia to America, and someone says, well, there was one shooting in Australia, their gun laws don't work at all. And I'm like, well, it's their first mass shooting of this size in 30 years. America's probably had around like a couple hundred in that same time span. I'm just trying to make a point, and I know I'm close enough to the exact numbers that we don't have on hand. So that's why I do that there. And I was pretty close. I mean, 58%, 50 to 60.
No, you
so
were,
I was pretty
man.
good there.
You were.
So when talking about Venezuela, I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch CNN. I do know a little bit about the global order after World War II. I care about, I've been involved in different global simulations. I have my master's in public policy, which I don't care about that at all. But I've been to a couple different countries, nothing crazy. And I don't think you need to be somewhere to understand it. But being in different communities from New Hampshire to Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Pennsylvania, Florida, South Carolina. I think that's a lot of experience with different people, especially in immigrant communities, understanding, different people. So like with the Venezuelans you see cheering, many of those videos are not from this year. Many of them are. So some that are from this year are Venezuelans who are in America now cheering because they're super happy. They hate Maduro, obviously. And most Venezuelans do hate Maduro. But in Venezuela, there are bread lines right now, worse than they've seen in a while. They just survived drone strikes in their capital city. So the picture there is not nearly a party whatsoever. So like I would say to be careful when you say that, especially right now with AI and not knowing when videos come from. Although people might be happy in Venezuela, the tone is very somber because the Maduro regime, 4 of their top generals, including the leader of Tren de Aragua, the vice president who is now president, the entire Maduro regime is still in power. But now there's more uncertainty. Things might get worse in Venezuela. So that description that I just gave you right there is not MSNBC. That is basic analysis that anybody would give you who's looking at the situation, whether a neocon, a neoliberal, a liberal, conservative, whatever, other than like a super huge Trump writer, they'll give you what I just said. So I don't know if that's MSNBC or like what. I would just ask you, like, what parts of it did you feel were copy and paste from MSNBC, and I can respond to those. But
well, and can I touch on that in a second? Can I just
respond? Go ahead.
What you said, and then I'll touch on that because again, I'm not looking to argue or try to one up you. Or
for sure.
Lick you down. I genuinely love these conversations, and I'm kind of. And I'm not trying to come from a place of authority. And I really love the fact that you said, look, man, I have a degree and I can't remember what you said. I was listening to you, but you had a degree and you didn't come from a place of authority. And I dig that because 9 times out of 10, when you talk to people like, oh, I have a degree, I have a doctorate in basket weaving. So I have a, doctorate and blah, blah, blah. I love that you didn't come from a place of authority. Number one.
Well, just really quick, I have authority with like the opioid epidemic and like policy surrounding state politics and how to do that. Like I have training in that directly, so I might have authority there, but it depends on what area. Yeah.
Well, that's the fight that we really need to be fighting and looking for, especially with the opioid epidemic that we've seen in the last several years. And I commend you for doing that, man. I respect the hell out of you for that, and that's awesome that you're a part of that. And but number 2 is I would say, look. I have, and I know this seems kind of, you got a friend, but no, one of my best friends, is fiance is from Venezuela, wife's from Cuba. I mean, so having deep ties into this and understanding where this is coming from, and him being a Colombian himself, kind of have some different perspective on this. And I want to kind of go back to like 25 years ago. A lot of people are barking and don't really understand that we put tons, and I mean billions, into helping Venezuela set up their oil manufacturing. Under Maduro and the last dictator that they had there, they have let this stuff go to the point where it's just been a terrible investment. The people have not benefited in that country. The warlords, mongers have the dictators have gotten ultra mega rich. And the people there have suffered immensely. That guy was not a. That guy was no. He was no more than what. Oh man, and I'm sounding like an idiot. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The guy in Colombia that we went after. We took. Gosh darn it. I'm having a brain fart because I'm on the phone and kind of nervous. But we went after the drug lord. And took him down. We went after El Chapo and took him down. This guy was not recognized by NATO. He was not recognized by the UN as the president of Venezuela.
No, okay, yeah, we agree. We're gonna agree on all that. Maduro is terrible. Maduro is really bad. Maduro is a brutal dictator. All that kind of stuff. We agree. Yeah, we're gonna agree on that.
And I look at him like he's no more than El Chapo. I mean, we snatched up El Chapo. He's no more, well, through the government helping. But the problem is that he has crippled that government. And as far as working with his cohort, his vice president, I'm not so sure, and I'm not looking to give a pass. I'm not so sure that isn't smart for this reason that, look, this lady knows, and this is just common sense in my opinion, it's conjecture, but this lady knows, like, you effed around and found out. Like, your boss effed around and found out. you're going to walk the line. And I believe this lady is probably going to walk the line and going to do what needs to be done. And if she doesn't, I think her fate is probably not going to be too far off. She was involved in a lot of that BS too. The actual calling Americans cowards, not recognizing the election and not letting the people pick the ruler that they wanted to pick. I mean, this guy was a total dictator, and he was a drug lord. He wasn't even a legitimate president. So
I agree.
We just removed a drug lord. We removed a drug lord. So this narrative that I see on TV and people keep saying, oh, there's global ramifications. I mean, if you get outside and you look anywhere else in the world and you start looking at some of their news, and now a lot of that stuff is slanted too, you can get different sources. But a lot of people are patting America on the back for that. So it's like, I think, in my opinion, and you obviously have different ones, I don't think this was a world against America for taking out Maduro. I think this is a good thing. I think China is going to be on board because, they have the oil. China, they could not produce the oil that China was trying to buy from them. Russia couldn't get the oil because they couldn't produce it. I mean, they owed people a lot of money
about Venezuela, though.
I'll say this and I'll shut up. They owed China money. They owed Moscow money. They owed people in the EU money. They owed America money, and they weren't able to produce. And this was because of a dictator, a drug lord kingpin dictator that took over the country with a militia, basically used the military. It would be no different if Trump just decided, we're not having free elections. I'm the dictator, and the military is going to back me. It would be he did that, and that's what so many liberals
Trump
are afraid
wanted to do that.
Well, yeah, that could never happen in America. I don't care if the guy wanted to. That would never happen.
I hope so.
I'm a conservative guy, and I'm telling you right now, that would never happen.
Well, the January 6th being pardoned is a terroristic activity, in my opinion. Like giving them pardons is crazy.
That's a whole rabbit hole. But yeah, I'd like to stick to this. But
we could talk about that tomorrow on January 6th. It's the anniversary if you want to call in again. But just on Venezuela really quick. So like in Venezuela, so we talk about drugs. The leader of Trende Aragua is still in power. He's still there. Two of their top police general and the other position, I forget the names of them, but they were even more, I think they might have had a bigger bounty than Maduro. They are still there. Maduro's handpicked vice president, who he called his lion or something, she's still in power. Yeah. The entire Maduro regime is still in power. Nothing has changed in Venezuela other than more uncertainty. And now America is controlling all commerce there. So when it comes to democracy, we're not bringing democracy to Venezuela. If America wanted to help their oil refineries get up and running, it's a very violent place. There's a bunch of gangs, a bunch of random governing bodies, a bunch of different groups that want power. They had to keep this government in place or it would have collapsed. And that Machado lady, she did not have the popularity, and also Trump hates her because she got the Nobel Peace Prize and he won't shut up about it. And that's definitely playing somewhat of a role here, but also the generals don't want her. It's military rule at that point. So what's the next step forward then? If Maduro is gone, the regime's in place, the torture is not going to stop. Venezuelans might be happy because that evil guy is gone, but where do you think the next steps are going to go then?
I think the next steps are going to go that number one, the trade embargo and the deals that they have made with other countries are going to be able to eventually be made into fruition, which is going to bring money there. And I think and I hate to use this word because it's so generically used, but I think the policing of that regime is going to be a good thing, because I think that they effed around and found out, and I don't think there's any, and again, this is conjecture, I don't think that there's any way this lady pulls the BS that guy pulled, Maduro pulled. I don't think that the tortures are going to go on. I think that the gangs are going to be less emboldened and less empowered because of what happened. I think Venezuela is actually probably on the upswing. 30 years ago, Venezuela was a great country, man. That was 30 years ago. I don't know how old you are, but that puts me at 16, brother. That was a good country. Within the last 25 years, they have went to shit in a handbasket, pardon my language. They've went bad.
There's a lot of complicated reasons why. I just don't see in Venezuela, things are even more fragmented now than before, unless if America like used the military on the ground to occupy it and to build the country up, to do like nation building. I just don't see it getting better. If anything, it might be more fragmented. Just tonight, they were firing anti-aircraft projectiles. They were firing missiles and like other anti-aircraft guns at their own drones because they're so paranoid now that America's coming to attack. So like, imagine like terrorism. It's interesting too because you invade a country. If somebody attacks your people and they're not in the government, we're going to call them terrorists. But you know, from their perspective, it's rational. We have that possibility, and if an American dies, that can be a whole nother thing. And then we also have the idea of other small countries globally, nuclear proliferation. If we have no respect for sovereignty, if America is going to be a player, just like Russia invading Ukraine, and Ukraine regrets giving up their nukes now. All these small countries globally who have a chance to get nukes, including Iran, which they still have some nuclear capabilities. They were a few months off, or they were delayed like a year from the strikes, but they still have capability to develop again. Every country in the globe that's a small country, if the big countries want to invade, they are going to be racing to get nukes faster than ever before. So I'm concerned about that as well.
Well, they can't withhold the infrastructure to have oil refinery. What makes you think they're going to have nukes? And that's just me. And the other part is what you're saying right now is the same exact thing that Republicans were saying when Gaddafi was taken out. And I thought they were wrong then. And I think I think you're wrong. I just disagree with you. I think that.
Yeah, what about Saddam though? That's the other example is taking out Saddam, and things got a lot worse. We got ISIS out of that, right?
Yeah, we really did, man. And I think that's a totally different deal. And I think that we had no business there. That was complete bullshit. Pardon my language, but that was BS. And that was all about the crooked Bush administration and Halliburton. And I think anybody with 2 brain cells could know that that's what that was about. That was about money and power in the industrial war machine complex.
I don't disagree with a lot of that, but just the concept of toppling a dictator that people don't like, a very unpopular dictator. There was huge celebration when Saddam fell, like statues being toppled. But the after Saddam, things got a lot worse. I think that's kind of what I'm saying here. It might get worse.
Where's Iraq now? Do you know where Iraq is now?
I'm not too familiar with Iraq. I'm more familiar with Afghanistan.
ISIS is all but eliminated out of Iraq. Iraq is going in the right direction, so it got out of Iraq. Bit worse. Pardon me?
I mean, they might be recovering now 30 years or how many years? 20 years later. But yeah, didn't ISIS just kill a couple U.S. soldiers a few weeks ago?
I think crap gets worse before it gets better in situations like that.
Yeah, but we made it worse. So
especially with Islamic extremism that you don't really have in Venezuela. That's a different bird, man.
I'm worried about Christian extremism too, though, in America, as well as Jewish extremism. Yeah, I'm worried about all the extremism, like the idea that we could just blow up countries and it's our God-given right to. It's like the Monroe Doctrine combined with Christian nationalism.
Do you think Christians are as problematic or as dangerous as radical Islam?
I think that any radical fundamentalist religion is the same amount of dangerous. If you took every Christian fundamentalist, and put them in the Middle East and they were bombed to shit by both sides in every single war, then I think they'd be just as bad. And if you put the same Muslims here in America, they'd just be evangelicals in the countryside for many of them. It's just like, it depends on circumstance and everything. It's not inherent to the religions, in my opinion.
We've seen with boots on the ground, and we can argue for Israel too, because I'm not a big supporter. We've seen what boots on the ground though, because in my opinion, Israel's just as bad as any other place in the Arab world. I'd probably take a lot of flack for saying that, but it's just how I feel. And I'll go back to you look at Iran in 1979. There's a deal where they pulled up a bunch of commercials where they had commerce and they had women without the hijab and
for a little bit
would be murdered for that.
Well, that was one city. It sucks. It does suck.
Once Islam gets its teeth into a country, that the difference, in my opinion, and we're kind of going down a rabbit hole, between Islam and Christianity is that
Russia's Christian. Russia is Christian nationalist. That is they are a terrorist state as well. They are Christian nationalist.
Isn't Russia like 25% Jewish?
I don't believe so. The Russian church in Russia has an extreme amount of power, and their patriarch, like they declared holy war on like Ukraine and stuff, and they are a huge guiding principle for who Russia's going to attack, and that's why Pete Hegseth, who's like a white nationalist or Christian nationalist, I mean, he's also very pro Russia because he likes their predominantly white Christian nationalist country. So like if we look at that, I think they are a good example, and their collaboration with countries like Iran, and they obviously share drones and everything. It just shows that these radical fundamentalist ideologies are all violent. They all seek to dominate and to get power.
Yeah, I would argue on the other side, and I agree with what you're saying, because what you're doing, you're throwing facts, and I dig that. But the only thing that I would argue with you on this topic is that I think the proof is in the pudding with what Islam has done in the 20th century, as far as world domination goes, and what they're trying to do with jihad, and people say, and we just had, you look at communities where we have gotten huge Somali interjects that have come in here legally and illegally, overstayed visas, whatever the case may be, when the borders were kind of open for anybody to walk through, and ports of entry were used. I think under the Biden administration, they let a ton of people in, and we could go down that rabbit hole too. But you look at those communities and you see the violence, you see the rapes that have gone up exponentially. You can see the car crashes. I mean, all the stuff that kind of comes with that stuff. And you got people on TV that are literally saying, like, look, this is our place. We're going to take this over. Like, now, yeah, that's one person. People could say, oh, that's conjecture. You're just picking out one guy. But I think that's an overall thing.
It's hard though. Like Somalis, some Muslims have a very low crime rate in America, and people like look at Zoran Mamdani, for example. They call him a jihadist. He would be killed in the areas we're talking about in the world, in Iran or these other countries. Like he would not be able to survive because he is a progressive. He is very liberal. They are very far right. Extremists in these countries, and many of them, they're, women can't speak, all that kind of stuff. If you're gay, you get killed, etc. So like, there's just different kinds of Islam. There's different kinds of Christianity. I would always reject boiling it down to, oh, these are Christians and they're bad. These are Somalis and they're bad, because Islam is a very young religion. Christianity had a period where it was only bloodshed in the Crusades and everything. Yeah. And Pete Hegseth, by the way, Pete Hegseth also said he's very pro crusade. So he is you put Pete Hegseth. If you put Pete Hegseth in charge of in Iran or something, wherever, he'd be leading Hamas or Hezbollah. Like if you put Pete Hegseth in a country like that where he's not pampered on TV and stuff like that, like these same ideological leaders. I just try to look at it in terms of like where they are in the world, what factors lead to different actions in different areas, and even among nations where there's higher Muslim populations, there's very different foreign policies. If you look at the Gulf states versus Iran versus like Pakistan, or like there's I just try to reject anything that boils us down to race or skin color or religion or anything like that.
Gotcha,
and
gotcha. Well,
immigrants in America have a very low crime rate in general. So.
Yeah, well, there's Sunni and there's Shiite Muslims, and
I don't know that. I have to study that. I do not know the difference whatsoever.
Yeah, one is way more radicalized in world domination, whereas the other is more like if you look at the prince over in Saudi Arabia is we could go down that rabbit hole, but because he's definitely a different dude. But
and the KKK were Christian too. Like the KKK were a very prominent Christian terrorist organization that's very recent in our history as well. And they were talking in the 20s and 30s. We had a huge influx of Catholic immigrants from like Poland and a bunch of other Eastern European countries.
Oh yeah.
And the KKK wanted to ban every other language so they can reject the Catholics moving in. So the KKK were teaching how Catholics were going to pollute the schools, and we have to ban languages because we have to be America. The KKK used the slogan "America First" as well at that time to say like we are the real white America. We speak English. To Catholics who were also white, or at least like now they are considered white for like Italians or whatever other. And it's really interesting because like we never think of the KKK in America and say that's a Christian terrorist group that was in America a few years ago. They're the equivalent to like jihadists or whatever. But we kind of just say, yeah, they're terrible guys, but we never tie it to Christianity. I kind of view it in the same way for the jihadists that you're talking about. I don't tie them to Islam. I tie them to just like any radical fundamentalism that creates, different groups of people that want to seek violence and domination. It's going to be very, very bad on them. So I reject all of that.
Well, and the other Christian one that you would point out too, or that anybody would point out, would be the Black Israelites who think that they are superior and all white people are devils and nobody white can get into heaven. I mean, and that's a real movement that's being pushed in America right now.
Well, that's very, 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 very small. But like, if we look at a more prominent one, like Malcolm X, for example, like Malcolm X was very separatist. And involved in the Nation of Islam. He ended up leaving it. But like Malcolm X, if you read his biography, if I went through what he went through, I would also hate white people at that time. Like I would not, dude, if I saw my family members getting hung and burnt in front of my house, I would hate white people. If I went through what Malcolm X went through. But then you see Malcolm X progress. He had disagreements with Martin Luther King Jr. Then Malcolm X actually went to Mecca. What made Malcolm X become more pro-integration and more anti-separation and more anti what you just described was him going to Mecca, taking a pilgrimage there with being Muslim in Islam. And Islam actually made Malcolm X much more liberated in his thinking. Now he was obviously sadly assassinated before we saw his full character arc change, but he was questioning a lot of those prior beliefs as well. So even with that, I just want to leave room for that because Islam in that environment or in that story actually led Malcolm X to believe in a more integrated world, because he went to Mecca, he saw people from other skin colors and ethnicities coming together for the same cause, and that kind of inspired him to view things differently. And I haven't read his books and I watch his interviews sometimes, but yeah, it's complicated. I appreciate the call. I don't want to get into any more rabbit holes with you, but if you want to talk about January 6th, definitely feel free to call in tomorrow. You can send me a text if you would like. If you want to call in tomorrow, I'll be streaming around 9 p.m. But tomorrow's the anniversary, so
9 p.m. Or what are you, Eastern, Central? What are you?
Eastern, yeah, Eastern.
Eastern, gotcha. And I'd say one more thing, and then I'll shut up and get off here. Is that we probably agree on more than we disagree on when it really boils down to, and I would encourage people, because I've got sucked into that, and I was, man, you're lying, blah blah. You get fired up, but I would say, look, until you actually sit down and talk to somebody, we should really, really take a moment to disconnect from this tribalism that we have going on, and understand that man, the shit that we have going on in our lives in America, we are so blessed, man. And I can tell you, just from seeing stuff from all over the world that is so bad, our system isn't perfect, but we are really, really blessed, and we should really look more to getting into conversations and finding common ground, and less into being tribalistic and conservatives are this and liberals are that and Democrats must die, Republicans must die. I can't wait till the day I see Donald Trump's death certificate or whatever, that I've read in the comments. Like, man, let's really look at like what these people in Venezuela have been put through in other places, and be blessed. We have a guy that we definitely don't like, but for the most part, and some people love him, and we'll get past that. We're going to go on to the next guy, and there'll be another faction of people that hate him and love him. And at the end of the day, man, we're all Americans. We're all human beings before we're Americans. And let's just be grateful for what we have and try to find more common ground, and let's get away from this tribalism, man. Hey, man, you have a good night. I appreciate you taking my call and let me be so long-winded.
All right. No, I appreciate the conversation. I hope you have a great night, man.
You too. Bye-bye.
I'm just saying, bro. I've said this before, but I could be the #1 podcast at de-radicalizing people. I promise you. Like real Americans. Bring back the real America. I think I could do it. I think I could do it, bro. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you for watching. I just want to reiterate again, I really appreciate you guys in chat. I appreciate the mods. I'm looking at the chat. it's obviously hard for me to talk to the chat. There's there's a big number of them again. So I do that thing where I give up on YouTube for a while. So I took a month break because I was averaging like 10 viewers a stream. But after my month break, my first stream back, we got up to 400 viewers. We stayed at 200 most of the stream. My second day back, we stayed at around like 200, 300. This stream, we peaked at 1,100. Okay. Third stream back, I believe we peaked at 1,100. We stayed at 900 viewers for 20 minutes. Okay. And then we stayed at 400 viewers. We stayed at 400 viewers for a consistent hour straight. Actually, no, we stayed at over 400 viewers for basically 2 hours, for 2 straight hours. So I really appreciate you guys coming back, dropping likes, subscribing. Is it 4? I don't even know. I'm losing track, but I'm going to keep on trying to do consistency. 9 to 11 is a time frame that works for me because it's usually, I want to go by the standard where I will be streaming between like 9 or 9:30, starting around there, putting 2 hours in pretty much every night. Unless if I say that I'm not going to be streaming that night. So if I don't find any motivation, nothing in the news, if I'm busy, then I'll try to update on social media and on Discord as well. Join Discord. We've gotten reviews from Discord. We need Discord. If you're a Discord person, you like talking to strangers on the internet and getting to know people. Our Discord is highly rated for being good for that. And people have a good time in there of all political ideologies, unless if you're a weirdo, don't be a weirdo. But yeah, join Discord. If that link doesn't work, let me know. I'll put a fresh link in chat. Let's see. Here, this is a fresh link right here. You can copy and paste it or join in my description. Best ways to donate. You can look at my description right now on this stream when it's over. I might be done here. We're at the 2 hour point. We are at 2 hours now. I did lie before because I started late, but we're getting to 2 hours. Coffee.com/JolaPolitics is one way to donate. It's in my description. Also patreon.com/JolaPolitics. Patreon, if you want to support the channel and support long-term independent media and what I'm doing in all different ways. So whether it's writing or TikToks or streams or videos, Patreon is by far the most consistent way to do funding. If you want to just fund what I do. And we can think about doing actual Patreon rewards if you donate on Patreon. Other than that, YouTube memberships are really cool. I love YouTube memberships that show support in the chat, super chats, and obviously donating to Jola Politics. Jola Politics, my channel name on Venmo or Cash App at Jola Politics. Okay, I think that's all of my begging for follows tonight. My begging for clout, shilling out. Yes, I'm doing my end of stream sprint. Thank you, Frozen. Christian values, not Christian nation. Yeah, it's also a testament to your. It's a testament to your religious. If your view of God is so weak that you believe the government needs to mandate believing in God and use weaponry and point guns at people to force them to, read the 10 Commandments in their classroom, then you are, in my opinion, insulting God. If you believe that you need the government to force people in his direction, if you want to enact violence through the government, you have a very low view of God. One love, bro. Thank you for $5. Top corn biscuits. Hey, that's what One Love is Raising Cane's theme, whatever saying, tagline. We're arguing. I'll thank you for $5 taking notes. Are you still here? So you hear me say thank you so much. Thank you, HRI9V. Are we going to discuss the Monroe Doctrine? And I don't know the Roosevelt corollary that well. I know a little bit about the Monroe Doctrine, not enough. I need a refresher on the Monroe Doctrine, but I need a refresher on both. Thank you for $10 again. Thank you for $10. Maybe we can. I might watch a podcast tomorrow on the Roosevelt thing. I have seen both, but it would be good to have a better context of it. One love, bro. Thank you for $5. A supporter tier, $5. Taking notes, $5. Top corn biscuits, $5, and then HRA9V. Thank you for keep up the good work. Thank you for $10. Thank you so much. See, this is perfect. This is perfect right here, guys. Is the microphone sounding okay? Any criticisms on my microphone quality? Is it okay today? Is the volume levels okay? Supporter tier. Thank you for becoming a supporter, HRI9V. Nice to have you on board. Thank you. It's comeback season, 2026. I really like this setup better than my last one, too. Sounds good still? Okay, I'll keep on asking because I'm insecure about it. The audio levels on like how loud videos are versus me, that's my concern too, because the new streaming software I'm using is giving me issues. So hopefully, I mean, not issues. It's hard to track the volume on it. But the new streaming software I'm using, I'm no longer using OBS. Not using OBS is helping me so much. It's helping me so much. I'm streaming on TikTok, Jola Politics, Kick, Jola Politics, and Twitch, Jola Politics, because I thought I might as well. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. This desk back here, too, I do want to position my... I have my screen where I'm reading chat to the right of me, so my head is turned this direction for a lot of the call. Someone said I should put the chat on the front of, like on the front screen, so maybe I'll do it like this, because at least if I'm doing this, I can look at you more when I'm talking. We need 8 more likes. Kick is one of those streaming platforms for gambling. Jola for president, true. Because I want to be able to look at the camera more. Yeah, well, I can't get a better background until I hit big. Here, let me see real quick. I have to move my snowman. I'm trying. I don't know, dude. Trying my hardest. I think this is better than my old one, though. This is better than my old background. Having my face on the right so the word don't drown out your face. Wait. What do you mean? Like where I am right now or right here? I'm confused about that. Have your face... Can you take a screenshot, maybe, of what you mean and send it to me? Take a screenshot, and I'll be able to take a look at what you mean. Try to adjust it. Wait, what about this screen, too? Because I have this set up for... Oh, don't do that. I don't know. I have this screen set up for video reactions. I'm just going to deal with this, because I want the screen to be front and center up here. I want the screen to be front and center, brother. Hey there, brother. Thank you for the follow, Toby Boo. Toby Boo. Boo Bo. Toby Bo. Hit like on your way out. Thank you for encouraging likes. Did we get 200 likes?
Can make.
Appreciate it. Oh, here we go. Where did I put my stream at? I can't even see it. There it is. Okay. Email me at jolapolitics, jolapolitics@gmail.com, jolapolitics@gmail.com. Okay. We need 3 more likes for 200. Should mods ban bots? It's hard to say. Don't ban be very light on banning bots if they look like bots. Unless if they're like, their names are like HYZZZWWWGZZ. Like if it's really, really, really weird, maybe. But even if it's some idiot Trumper just spamming dumb stuff, I want them on here for algorithm reasons. I don't want to drain them too much. Yeah, I don't know. Bots should be illegal. It's in the staff room. Might just need to deal with it. Maybe. Join Discord, guys. So the words go up that high. Oh, so when my face is... So if I'm watching a video, you can't see my face. If you have the chat up, at least. Because you don't need to have the chat up. I see the Let's Debate is covered up by my name a little bit at the top, too. Maybe I could lower that. Thank you for sending those. When my face is up here, it seems like it's okay. You mean, so my face needs to be on this side of the screen, not this side, but like right here. Right here seems good. I'm gonna move my webcam up a little bit, move the title down a little bit to fit the format a little bit better. You can't really even see my name, Joel of Politics. I might have to move that up to the top again. Okay, yeah, that's pretty informative. I'll fix that once I get my picture editing back. One more like. I'll put the stream live. I'll keep the stream live. Gotta spin the whole desk around. Crap. I'll put as long as we get donations on the stream, I'll keep it live. For real. I'll keep it public. I usually only don't keep streams public if something happens that I don't like. Like if I say something that I think is questionable, then yeah, we have 200 likes. Thank you guys. 200 likes. Thank you. If there's anything on the stream where I don't like it and I don't want it to be public, then sometimes I just shut it off and I unlist it. But yeah, this will be good. Corey's all gray. Corey needs another gifted sub. Okay, wait till tomorrow. Don't donate anything else. I'm going to bed. Thank you for watching, guys. I'm going to bed now, though. I'm going to bed. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. $2. Thank you for $2, Corey. Don't worry, Corey's gonna get it eventually. All right, yeah, thank you for the stream, guys. Man, we're back. We're back, guys. We made it back. We gotta keep grinding. Grind season, guys. Grind season. We gotta keep grinding. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you. Appreciate you.